Hello, everyone! The 29th episode got released yesterday, and although it went a little bit more straightforward and was less stressful than the previous episodes, I really loved it. And there were some very important details in it that I have to discuss with you guys, as well as hundreds of Easter eggs you could have easily missed. And I'm going to break the whole episode down for you, and if you're really ready, then put all your business aside for the next 10 minutes and trust me. Why did Drillman really make you destroy Speakerman? Did Red Titan Drillman want to destroy the POV, or was it all just a gimmick? And most importantly, how did the POV manage to outsmart one of the smartest zombies in the whole series? So if you want to know the answers to all these questions, then get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end, because it's going to be fire. Let's go. But before I'll start digging into episode 29, let me remind you real quick about the events of the previous episode so you won't get too confused about what has actually been going on. So the episode 28 started with G-Man, who was in the state of pure agony, because Hephaestus' core has already begun consuming his body. The bro was still fighting for his life, but unfortunately when both of his hands got sucked into the core, it started to seem as if there was no hope for him left. But thankfully Titan cameraman arrives to help, while managing to extract the core out of G-Man's body at the cost of injuring himself, because Titan's right hand starts melting from touching the core, which is still hungry for energy. Meanwhile, Titan Siren appears again, and a fierce melee fight ensues. And during this fight, Titan cameraman smashes the Hephaestus core right into Titan Siren, which causes damage and sparks a rapid reaction from Siren, who also removes the core from his body. Titan Siren then confronts Titan Clockman and even steals his time-controlling powers. And it's getting revealed to us that Siren can temporarily copy abilities by touching his opponent's weapons and armor. So he uses Clockman's powers to heal himself from the core's damage, but he is limited by the timer, indicated by a green dial on his arm. And then Titan Cameraman sends Siren flying with a powerful jetpack attack, which finally gives all three Chads a moment to take a breath. Meanwhile, the action switches to the POV, who in his turn shifts to a speakerman fleeing with a blue flash drive which contains crucial coordinates of the purple core that is able to cure zombie virus, in case you don't remember. And during the intense chase, we can see a mysterious red figure which is identified as the Red Titan Drillman, who appears on the horizon. A dramatic train chase ensues and then results in a temporary alliance between the POV and a speakerman who stole a flash drive, as they are both facing the common threat in a form of the menacing Black Mamba Drillman. And this is how episode 28 ended. But there were also two secret scenes from Monster Up, so we know that the infected Drillman was unleashed by the Plague Doctor himself, and that the Red Drillman planned to join the train chase as well, although we know that he's on nobody's side yet. Okay, so now when your memory is refreshed and you're all set and ready, episode 29 is already on your screens. So the episode starts with the scene where the POV and a speakerman decide to join their forces, and in the background we can see a list of participants who guessed the right amount of references to different YouTubers in the last season compilation video, which is a fun mini-game activity that Monster Up started adding to his season videos recently. So congrats to all these guys who guessed all the references right, and let's move on. After both Speakerman and Plungerman turn into the infected Drillman's direction, he decides not to wait around and attacks immediately while summoning the cloak of black fog to his opponents. And of course, the POV already knows what's coming after that, so he desperately tries to dodge the attack, but unfortunately the space around him is way too tight, and it's just not possible to escape this fog. So when the POV gets up, he finds himself in the world of illusions again. Behind his back there is a flash of light, or maybe it's something like a light at the end of the tunnel, which would be pretty encouraging in the circumstances like this, you know. And when the POV finally turns around, he sees a terrible creature instead of a familiar-looking Drillman. And this guy reminded me of a vampire from the infamous game called Redfall. As he comes closer to the POV, we can see how the handrails in this train are starting to curve and bend, as if this monster was changing the reality around him or something like that. Which has also reminded me of a train chase from the game Little Nightmares 2, where the enemy named Tallman was also able to shift the reality. And also, it seems like the POV is stuck in some terrible dream and just can't move, while the sinister creature keeps approaching him while saying, "You will die." But somehow the POV still manages to dodge his attack and even change the hopeless position when he was facing his enemy while having his back on the closed door. And then the creature also started changing his form, so it turns out into a giant, disgusting spider. It seems to me that the infected drillman thought that the POV is Ron Weasley or something, and that he's terribly afraid of spiders, maybe? And well, I'm not gonna lie, having the giant poisonous spider in a cornered room in front of your face is really terrifying. Especially when it gets splashed into multiple smaller spiders as well. Then the spider takes it to the POV and it even looks like it stings him with the poison right into the face. But considering that everything is one giant hallucination, I think that it was just in the POV's head. That's why the spider disappears afterwards. And instead of it, the knife appears. And when the POV gets up after grabbing that knife, he sees the original drill man who is to blame for all these hallucinations. Well, at least that's what the POV must have been thinking in that moment. So he jumps right at his enemy and tries to give him a few slices. But with every hit, Drillman becomes invisible and evades his attacks. So the POV gets even angrier, and in the end he finally manages to find his rival, who somehow becomes much weaker, and hits him right in the head. But then the terrible truth comes out. It turns out that the POV finished off his unsuccessful ally, which is Speakerman, who apparently just tried to help him, or maybe he was in his own illusions as well and didn't really understand what was going on. So he falls unalived, and the POV takes the flash drive out of his hands. And now I want to say something important, because I believe that the destruction of this speakerman was not by accident and it was actually staged by the plague doctor himself. But why, you can ask me? Here's the thing. In my analysis of episode 28, I said that it's really possible that the speakerman's race may finally unite with the Alliance. Because if this one speakerman would actually survive and have a talk with plungerman, he would understand that the Alliance is not a pool of enemies, and that they united with Skibidi toilets for a bigger purpose, which compiles with speakerman's purpose as well. So this speakerman could successfully return to his base and try to convince his allies to hold a ceasefire with the Alliance and unite against the Plague Doctor, who is the real villain here. So of course the union of such powerful forces would harm the Plague Doctor's plans, so he decided to knock it right on the head before it went any further. So now this speakerman that could have become the messenger between the two sides is gone, and the union with speakerman is not an option again, which is really sad. Because I was so eager to finally see the reunion with speakerman. It would be so wholesome, you know, but I guess it would be way too easy as well, so that's why Monster Up got the series plot into another turn again. Okay, but at least the POV has the flash drive with the precious information again, and that's a good thing. But Drillman obviously wants it as well and gets ready for another attack. And by the way, in that moment, we can see a reference to a Skibidi YouTuber right there. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to find him, so if you know who this guy is, please write the name of his channel in the comments below. Okay, let's continue. But the infected Drillman's attack gets cancelled by some huge shakeup, and when Plungerman looks into the window, he sees not only another reference to a Skibidi YouTuber filming his reactions to Zombie Universe series, but also a culprit of this shaking. It's actually Red Titan Drillman in the flesh, and he's not happy. So he takes the whole train as if it was made of Lego or something. So everybody inside starts getting knocked around like fish in an aquarium. And in that shaky moment, you can see another reference. And this time, it's my own channel. That was really wholesome to see. And I think that this is also a perfect opportunity to ask you to subscribe to my channel, because statistics tell me that only 28% of people who are watching my videos are subscribed to my channel, while more than 70% are staying unsubscribed. So be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons not to miss my new cool analyses. Okay, so if you're subscribed now, let's continue. So after that, the furious Red Titan simply rips off the first half of the train and causes the body of a gone speakerman to fall, while Plungerman and the infected Drillman both try to hang in there as long as possible in order to save their lives. And I mean, passing away like that would be extremely painful, so I can understand even the Black Mamba zombie. So when Red Titan Drillman's drills get closer to the POV, he starts jumping to further seats to escape the terrible fate, and on his way, he also finds a way to finish with the infected Drillman once and for all. Luckily, while he was climbing, there was an emergency hammer on his way, and in case you don't know what it is, that's a hammer with a really sharp tip, and it's used to break the windows in a train in case for any emergencies to get out. But instead of a window, the POV decides to apply it to the infected Drillman's leg, which breaks it in the most inconvenient moment for the freak. It slows him down, and we can finally see a very satisfying scene where the freak gets sucked right into the Titan's drills. And this whole scene in a train reminded me a lot of this scene from the game called Resident Evil 2 Remake. And just in the last moment, when it seemed like the POV was doomed as well, A rescue appears in a form of this plane that got plungerman right in the moment of the train's destruction. And this is the same plane we could remember from the earliest episodes of the series, but how did it get to be here? Was In sent especially to save the POV with the flash drive, or was it all just a lucky coincidence? Plus, I thought that there would be a possibility that this plane could have belonged to speakerman, which would make the things even more interesting. But I doubt that because their planes look way too different. And by the way, we can notice 2 more references to YouTubers doing their reactions to Zombie Universe series. And also in that moment, we can finally look closer to the whole design of Red Titan Drillman. And this guy looks just epic, and the purple flame below his feet makes him even cooler. But what's even more important is that the POV finally got the flash drive, and now we can see the coordinates of the precious purple core that is essential for saving the planet from the virus. And besides these coordinates, we can also see the words base 23 and its code name, which is Atlantis. And I believe that this is the point of destination for the POV in the next episode, and that's exactly where he'll move to. And that was all for today. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you will not miss my new videos. And also to my Discord, where you can contact me directly and get lots of info for my subscribers only. And that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!